A beautiful day in South Dakota, right, Governor?
Yes, absolutely.
Snow on the west side, wind on the east side. What more could you ask for? We're happy to see everybody here today. We're honored, Governor, to have you here, Mr. Mayor, of course, and of course, Secretary Hagan. It's a pleasure to have you all here. Makes the day very special. You know, this industry has been through a lot in the last several months. And I'm not going to dwell on that today, but what I'm going to talk about is travel and tourism in South Dakota. How lucky are we in this state to get to promote this state and have people come here? How lucky are we? And that's what we have to celebrate today. So many of you have been through tough times. Lots of our friends and business partners have been through tough times. And together we've all stood tall. We've stuck together, we've worked together, we've promoted each other, and because of that, I really feel by being one that we're all going to move forward and we're going to come out of this stronger and better than ever. With that, I know you're not here to listen to me. You're here to listen to these three distinguished guests. It's my honor to introduce Sioux Falls' biggest, best cheerleader, Mayor Paulton Hagan.
Terry. She was saying biggest something. I didn't know where that was going to end. It's been that kind of year. So, well, thank you, Terry. Thank you guys for being here. Governor, obviously, thank you for being here. Jim, it's a great time in South Dakota and in Sioux Falls for tourism. And I think even just I was rolling up in the parking lot, I saw 3 license plates just in this parking lot here. And there's a lot of people because of the decisions that we've made as a city and as a state this past year that want to come to South Dakota, want to come to Sioux Falls and spend tax dollars here, spend tourism dollars here, and enjoy this great economy. So I'm very proud of the way that these two have led through the last year. I think we're poised for a really big year, Jim. I hope your team is ready to buckle in because I think there's a lot of people who have South Dakota on their radar for a trip this year. So in Sioux Falls, we're obviously at our namesake here at the Falls, but what's cool is I just gave our State of the City address, and this background behind me in the next 4 or 5 years, there's going to be literally hundreds of millions of dollars in public and private investment right here. And it's going to be hotels, ice skating ribbons, all kinds of stuff is going to happen here. And it's going to be incredible for our members in our community, but also for tourism. And so tourism is a big part of our economy, and we're here to kick that off today. And to do that, I'm going to read a proclamation that we had written for this special day. It goes like this. Whereas the city of Sioux Falls recognizes travel and tourism as an essential industry to Sioux Falls, and it recognizes the roles of experienced Sioux Falls in continuing to position the city as a one-of-a-kind destination and in providing an energized visitor experience to enhance economic impact. Whereas the travel and tourism industry is a significant contributor to the U.S. economy and exports. Whereas the travel and tourism industry supported 11 million jobs in 2020. Whereas 12.6 million visitors came to South Dakota in 2020, generating $3.4 billion in direct and indirect spending and over $276 million in state and local taxes, and supported nearly 50,000 tourism industry jobs. Whereas Sioux Falls welcomed visitors from all 50 states last year and dozens of foreign countries, generating over $283 million in estimated economic impact in 2020. And whereas the Sioux Falls visitor industry, led by our biggest cheerleader, Terry Ellis Schmidt, that's not in here, but I'm going off script, is united as one voice to create greater economic impact for our community. Now therefore I, Paulton Hagan, Mayor of the City of Sioux Falls, do hereby proclaim May 2 to 8, 2021 as National Travel and Tourism Week in Sioux Falls. Yay! Yay. And with that being said, I get to introduce a guy I've known for a lot of years who really is the quarterback of the tourism team, and this state is really lucky to have a guy of Jim Hagan's caliber leading our tourism department. So, Jim, we're glad to have you in Sioux Falls, man.
Yep, you bet. Hey, oh, thank you. Thank you, Mayor Paul. I want to thank Terry, my dear friend from Experience Sioux Falls. You have been amazing over the last year. And even if we hadn't been in a pandemic, she's still amazing. So I want to thank Terry and her team and the governor I'll get to in just a second here. But I just want to take a second and first off, happy National Travel and Tourism Week. This year's theme of National Travel and Tourism Week is the power of travel. And nowhere else on the planet or in this country was that power more on display than in South Dakota in 2020. You know, we had so many opportunities to fold, but we didn't. I love that saying, tough times don't last, but tough people do. And we are a tough industry and a resilient industry. And so I want to thank all of the industry members who are here today. Thank you for hanging in there, for being tough. You know, like I said, 2020 could have been a really devastating year for us, but it was much, much better than we expected. And that's a result, as a result of all of you and your efforts and your hard work. So I just want to publicly thank you for everything you've done. Mayor Paul, we are very excited about this upcoming peak season. Every indicator that we have is through the roof. We are setting all sorts of records, so we're expecting a very, very special summer. So at this point, I also want to introduce a leader who was so steadfast in 2020. And every time we needed something as an industry or I needed something, I just say, Governor, here's what we need. She was right there for us. She is passionate about this state, passionate about this industry, and we are so blessed to be working alongside of her. So please join me in welcoming South Dakota's Governor, Kristi Noem.
Well, good afternoon. Happy National Travel and Tourism Week. This is fantastic. And this year in South Dakota, our theme is the power of travel. And I think we recognize that here in South Dakota more than any other state in the nation in the year of 2020, when people needed a little bit of break from reality of what they were dealing with, the challenges in their states. They wanted to go somewhere where they knew that people would take care of them, let them hike on their trails, spend some time outdoors, maybe do a little hunting and fishing. They came to South Dakota, and we showed the power of giving people the opportunity to experience a little bit of our hospitality in 2020 and saw extreme benefits, not just to this state, but to our families and to our small businesses as well. So I just want to thank everybody that is here. This is our second largest industry in the state of South Dakota. The mayor was exactly right. We saw record visitors come to the state of South Dakota. 12.6 million people made the trip here. They supported almost 50,000 jobs in the state of South Dakota. And by spending and raising us $276 million worth of state and local taxes. That saved every single family in the state of South Dakota about $780 in their pockets. That's $780 that every family got to keep in their pockets because we had visitors that came. We had visitors that spent their vacations here. They ate in our restaurants. They stayed in our hotels. And they had an opportunity to experience a little bit of our way of life. And our families here had the opportunity to keep some more money in their pockets and to welcome them to what is so special about South Dakota. So this year, in 2021, we have even more opportunities in front of us. Just so far, in 2021, in these first several months, we are seeing, as far as web traffic, a 55% increase in web traffic just in January through March of people that are interested in making the trip to South Dakota. We see our parks getting record visitation and reservations. We have seen and set historic levels of hunting licenses sold, fishing licenses sold. In fact, Custer State Park had a record-setting 2 million visitors last year just in Custer State Park. So every single park, from Palisades to Newton Hills, all the way across the state to Custer State Park, is seeing more and more visitors because they're recognizing what's special about South Dakota and they want to come see it themselves. So I just want to thank each and every one of you for the example that you've set, the way you worked together, that you were creative. We stayed open when every other state closed down at some point. And you guys asked for that because you wanted the opportunity to make sure that people had the chance to come to South Dakota, keep our small businesses in business, but also show a little bit about what is so special about our lifestyle here. So thank you for doing that, being creative, doing it in a partnership. I want to thank the mayor for his leadership, his constant communication with the state, Terry for her optimism, and then Jim for his ingenuity and always coming and asking. Half the time in other states, people just don't talk and don't communicate on what needs to happen. What's unique about South Dakota is we're all partners in this. And we all recognize that while we've always known how special South Dakota is, this last year, the rest of the country got to hear about what is so special. And not only are people visiting South Dakota, they're moving here. They're moving here by the thousands, and hundreds of businesses are moving here as well. So what we're going to focus on is, while we've got a lot of people that are visiting our state, I know that the biggest challenge that we have in many businesses today is workforce. Getting the bodies to fill those jobs that we need in order to take care of people, to fill the hospitality industry. So the state of South Dakota and the Department of Labor is going to cooperate with the Department of Tourism in a new way, in a way that allows us to target individuals that want to come in and serve people, that have special gifts and talents in hospitality. They love working in restaurants and bars. They love working in hotels, and they want the kind of lifestyle that we have here in South Dakota. We're going to match them up with our businesses that need the assistance. We're going to do a special nationwide campaign to make sure that those individuals know they can find a new home here in South Dakota. The best example I can tell you about how we've already proven that this will work is that several months ago, when we saw a lot of violence, riots, and protests across the country, and we recognized how our law enforcement officers across the country were being targeted, that we wanted those who wanted to be in a city and a state that appreciated them, we wanted them to know that we welcomed them to South Dakota. So for 1 week, we did a national advertising campaign to law enforcement officers across the country to come and make their homes in South Dakota if they wanted to. We had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of applications from 41 different states of law enforcement officers that wanted to move to South Dakota, and they did. They did with their families. They love it here. They filled our open positions. They became a part of our communities, and now they are a part of our way of life. That is exactly the same kind of targeted message that we're going to carry to the rest of the country about our tourism industry. We're going to make sure that we're out there focusing, using the platform that we have right now, that everybody's paying attention to South Dakota, and use it to partner with our Department of Labor and the Department of Tourism to make sure that we're filling those jobs. So people are here to serve those individuals who want to come here and visit and be a part of a little bit of the freedom that South Dakota enjoys each and every day. So thank you all for what you do, for your promotion, for your optimism. I tell people the greatest gift we have here in South Dakota is our people that wake up happy, that are people here that wake up happy every single day because they love each other, they're partners in their communities, they want to serve each other, take care of each other, and that's really what more of our country could use in this day and age, don't you think? People that actually want to take care of each other and love each other. So with that, happy National Travel and Tourism Week. The power of travel can be something that we can continue to build on to keep showcasing our special way of life here in South Dakota. So God bless you. And with that, I think we're going to open it up to any questions that you may have that are all super, super easy and not hard. Right, Jim? Okay, go ahead. Any questions? Yeah, so the question was, talk about the impact of South Dakota being open for our tourism season, where a lot of states still are pretty closed down. I think it's an opportunity that we have that we really need to put all hands on deck for and optimize on. This is an opportunity where families want to travel. Those that are comfortable traveling want to go somewhere where they can be outdoors, enjoy the beautiful trails that we have. They can enjoy our restaurants. They can enjoy our museums. And South Dakota has been flexible and creative in how we've been able to keep those businesses open and still keep them safe and keep their families' health safe. So that is why we're focusing not just this week on telling our story in South Dakota, but nationwide, that this industry is open. We want you to come, that we put the resources behind it to serve you and to let you have a wonderful time while you're here. Do you have more?
Yeah, it's a challenge. The H-2B program is a very important program to workers not only in western South Dakota, but eastern South Dakota in a number of different sectors besides tourism. So one thing that we're hearing is that the H-2B program is rolling out very slowly, or the program is operating very slowly right now. We know the Biden administration just recently announced an additional 22,000 H-2B workers on top of the 67,000 workers that are normally allocated. But that really is just a drop in the bucket. I mean, those are 22,000 workers that everyone across the entire country is going to be vying for. So, yeah, it's a need. I met folks this morning in the western half of the state who said we're in desperate need of J1 and H-2B workers, and we just can't get them. It's something that needs to be addressed in D.C. By Congress and by the administration. So, you know, I know they know it's a need. Our congressional representatives are constantly assisting us in terms of getting the word out that we need these additional temporary foreign workers. But it really is up to the administration to make it work. So, you know, our campaign will definitely be focused domestically, and we have some ideas. We'll be meeting tomorrow morning when we're back in Pierre to discuss exactly how we're going to target. But one area that I'm specifically looking at are retirees who are out there. I'm meeting them all the time who are saying, you know what, I'm tired of being retired. I'm looking for just a temporary job, whether it be for the summer, 6, 9 months. I think they're a perfect demographic for us to target, especially with a digital campaign, and they're out there. And so we're hearing from them almost every single day from people saying, hey, we're going to come and visit. We're thinking about relocating, and a lot of them are retirees. So it's just a great opportunity for us to find them and put them in those jobs. It's, you know, we're seeing the same story play out nationally, so it's not just South Dakota, but it's a need. There's no question. We're not at what I would say a critical point today, but we're trying to get ahead of the curve so we can deal with that, so we don't get to that point. But even speaking with different industry partners here this afternoon, I mean, they're finding it tough to find those workers. So this is something that we're not going to deal with just this summer. This is going to be an ongoing program that I think we need to focus on for the next 5 to 10 years. Yeah, my expectations are very, very high, and I think it's going to be a very strong summer. So we just received data a few days ago from the U.S. Travel Association. South Dakota is leading the nation when it comes to travel and tourism. We are the best performing state in all the country, followed closely by Montana and Idaho, but South Dakota is #1. And so that bodes very well for us. The governor mentioned website traffic. I can tell you in the last 30 days alone, our website traffic is up 173%. Our inquiries are up 213%. Those are people requesting a vacation guide. Now you got to keep in mind, 2020 was a record-setting year for TravelSouthDakota.com and our website, and it's going through the roof. So I'm expecting a very, very strong summer.
I do. The question was about how we're going to recruit this workforce. And I think the H-2B, the J1 programs are incredibly important, but they're federal run programs. And so that's where the administration makes the decision on how many allocations we get, and then our congressional delegation can weigh in. But I am weighing in with letters of support as well, asking for more of those visas that we need to get workforce. But this is something that's not going to have one solution. We're going to have to make sure that we're approaching it from all different angles to get the workforce that we need. So this national campaign is going to be a lot like we did with the law enforcement campaign, where we tell our story. We tell people and show them pictures and videos of how special this is, that this looks a lot better right now than the New York city streets or Philadelphia or downtown Chicago. This is a wonderful place to come raise your family to have a job and live in a home that's safe and protected by people who want to be a part of a community. So it's telling that story, inviting them to be here, and then also offering opportunities for apprenticeship programs or for job skills programs that allows people to learn a new skill that they maybe didn't have before to get into that career that they've always wanted in a community like Sioux Falls or Watertown or Pierre or Rapid City or even Faith, South Dakota. Wherever they might want to be, we want them to know that we welcome them to come be a part of our way of life. So I don't think there's one program that's the answer. I think we have to pursue them all to make sure that we're filling our workforce needs to meet the amount of visitors that are going to come to our state. But listen, the more people that come, the better South Dakota does. The better our small businesses do, the better and stronger our communities are, the more tax dollars that come in that fund our schools and our roads and our bridges and infrastructure, and the more success that we have really showing the rest of the country about what our values are like and how it leads to the American dream for so many people. Yes. Good, Stephen. We have been in the top of distribution of vaccines the entire time. So, that's the one thing. Stephen's making an excellent point about public safety and about families having options to still travel, but travel safely. And the fact that we perform so well on distribution of vaccines gives people a lot of comfort across the country as they visit here. And then also we'll continue to provide all of the COVID-19 recommendations that come forward so that people have all the information they need to know they can come here and be protected.
Where would you say the state is in terms of pandemic, given the vaccination rate, given the infection rate? Your community, where do you evaluate kind of the pandemic and where we are?
I would say that I'm not comfortable today. The question is on if I'm comfortable saying that we have herd immunity yet in South Dakota where we're at. I wouldn't say we're there yet, but we're very, very close. And I would expect that most people in the state feel comfortable conducting normal day-to-day life activities. We've got distribution levels that are very good and outstanding across the country. We've got people that have had the virus and recovered from it, and a lot of folks that have the antibodies. The rest of those still understand that they have the opportunity to stay home if they're worried about getting it, and that they'll be taken care of, and that their community members will help them care for those essential items that they may need taken care of. So I think we're in a good spot. I would never say that we're done. And obviously we have some variants out there we'll always watch. This is going to continue to be a job in front of us, but it's one that I think most people in the state of South Dakota recognize that we can continue to live our lives and do our daily activities. Sure. The questions is about the fireworks and July 3rd celebration at Mount Rushmore. So we had a memorandum of agreement that we signed with the administration to conduct those fireworks this year. But the Biden administration has decided not to issue us the permits that we needed to follow through on that. After pursuing communications with them, asking for permission to get those permits that were agreed to under that memorandum and being denied, I decided to file litigation efforts against them because they did not give me a reason for why they pulled the permits. Typically, when you pull a permit, there's a reason behind it. They would have cited an environmental concern or a fire hazard concern or public safety concern. And there wasn't any of those reasons listed when they decided not to give us those permits. That's why I'm filing suit. I'm filing suit because it appears to be punitive or political. And because we already had an agreement that was signed, we want to make sure that South Dakota has the opportunity to have that celebration and that we can all go forward and be excited about American independence and showcasing that monument to the rest of the world. The question is on if I have confidence that that litigation will move forward quickly. I do not know. You know, every time you're involved in legal challenges, they could last quite a long period of time. But I'm hopeful. I thought it was a fantastic event last year. We had hosted those fireworks for many years before we lost them during the Obama administration. So I'm hopeful we'll have the opportunity to do that again. And I'm hopeful that when President Biden allows us to have those permits, that he would come and celebrate with us as well.
Aside from the lawsuits, we saw forest fires in the park this year.
Well, a part of that whole discussion and all of the agreements that were signed was a go, no-go checklist. And that checklist was agreed to with the National Park Service, the Forest Service, South Dakota Wildland Fire, the state of South Dakota, and local entities that said if there was any danger of fire prior to that event and anybody in that agreement decided that it was too risky, then we wouldn't do it. So that was a whole protocol list that all of those entities signed off on. And even up until a few hours before the event, they would have the opportunity to stop the fireworks if they felt there was a fire danger. So those safety precautions are incredibly important, and one that we've always followed and did agree to follow when we originally signed that memorandum of agreement. Sure. That is absolutely false. We're talking about the Sturgis Bike Rally, and that has been labeled for almost a year as a super spreader event, which was an absolute lie. So I hope every time you guys hear that from somebody that you push back as hard as you can, because that is the liberal national media trying to demonize that event, which absolutely isn't true. We did not have significant cases. Less than a couple handfuls of cases were traced to that event, and we're looking forward to hosting the rally again. Yes, even the CDC report, and I think we've all recognized that recently with the CDC that they changed their opinions and their guidance based on political pressure at different times. So that we, Department of Health and other outside entities and other states all reported cases back to us, which we asked them to do after the Sturgis Bike Rally last year, and there was less than 50 cases tied to that event last year, and the fact that they've labeled that as an event that spread the virus is an absolute lie. Let's end on a positive note. There's got to be something else. We are excited about hosting the rally, though, because it's a great opportunity for us to invite people to the state. And Sturgis is always looking forward to it. West River is, and there's opportunities for us always to enjoy the outdoors, and that is an event that we're very proud of. I am going to Sturgis this year, and I think I'm going to participate in the opening bike ride as well. So you all can come, and Joe, I'll get you a bike. You can ride with me.
Well, the question was, what's my expectations for our city? And much like Jim, I think we're just really bullish on what's going to happen, and especially with our downtown. Levitt's got a full slate of concerts. You know, we had a full PBR event. We're open and ready for events to come. The events just have to get comfortable. Acts have to tour. People are asking about, you know, musical acts at the Premier Center. I see Mike Cruson, our GM of the Premier Center, is here. We're ready to host concerts, but they have to get ready. But outside of that, I think with what they're talking about is many people that are interested in South Dakota. Well, a lot of that tourism, we think of West River. We're more than just a stop-off location anymore. People do spend a couple days now in Sioux Falls. And I think because of things like the Levitt and everything we'll have to do here in a normal environment, I think we're going to have a good year for tourism. And our entertainment tax has taken a hit this year. So we need a strong summer to bolster our entertainment tax again and make sure we can support the city venues that support tourism in Sioux Falls. 31 sporting events are booked for this summer, she says. So already. So yeah, it's hopping. Any other questions for? All right. Well, thank you for coming here today, guys. Appreciate it. Go eat ice cream.